Chapter 1, Lesson 7, Ratios and Rate Problems. Our content and language target for today. Content, students will understand that rates and ratios can be used to solve everyday events. Our language target, students will demonstrate their understanding of rate by working together to solve ratio and rate problems that are part of everyday life adventures. So look at example 1. We have Heritage Middle School has 150 students. 2 out of 3 students in Mrs. Mason's class prefers gel toothpaste. Use this ratio to predict how many students in the entire middle school prefer gel toothpaste. So as I look through, I hear that we have 150 students. And I know that 2 out of 3 students prefer gel. So 2 out of 3 is the same as the ratio 2 to 3. So I can write a fraction as 2 out of 3. That's my ratio. 2 out of 3 is the same as 2 over 3. 3 being the total. So next I have 150 total students, so that's my denominator. So now to find my answer, I can cross multiply. I can take 150 times 2. And if I use my calculator, that's 300. And I'm going to divide that by the only number I have left, which is my denominator here. So I take 300 and I divide that by 3. I get 100 students that prefer gel toothpaste. If I look at example 4, it says the ratio of the number of text messages sent by Lucas to the number of text messages sent by his sister is 3 to 4. For every 3 that Lucas sends, his sister sends 4. So it says Lucas sent 18 text messages. How many text messages did his sister send? Well, if I set this up as a ratio of 3 to 4, with Lucas being here and his sister being here, if Lucas sent 18 text messages, again, if I cross multiply, 4 times 18, 4 times 8 is 32. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 3, so that's 7 altogether. So if I take 72 and I divide that by 3, because 3 is my only number left, I get 24 text messages. I could also decide that 3 times 6 is 18, and whatever I do to the top number, I have to do to the bottom number. So 4 times 6 is 24. So either one of those ways will help you as you go through. Example number 5, it says, in a survey, 4 out of 5 people prefer creamy over chunky peanut butter. That would be me. There are 120 people shopping at the grocery store. Use a survey to predict how many of the people in the store would prefer creamy peanut butter. Well, so again, 4 out of 5 people. So that's my ratio. 4 out of 5 prefer creamy to chunky. There are 125 people total. So I can do this again one of 2 ways. I can cross multiply 125 times 4 is 500, and then divide that by 5. 500 divided by 5, that would be 100 people. I could also look at it as 4/5 or 4 to 5, and there's 125 people. I know that 5 times 25 is 125. And if I take 4 times 100 by 25, I get 100. So I still get the same answer. Example 6. It says the Millers drove 105 miles on 4 gallons of gas. At this rate, how many miles can they drive on 6 gallons of gas? So as I set this up, I have 105 miles and 4 gallons. So I have miles to gallons. And I have 6 gallons. How far can I drive on 6 gallons? Well, again, if I do that cross multiply, I would take 105 times 6. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 0 is 0. Plus 3 is 30. 6 times 1 is 6. And I would have to divide that by the only number I have left, that denominator, which would be 4. And 630 divided by 4 is 157 and a half miles. Yes, even sometimes you can have a decimal as your answer. And example number 4 says Jeremy drove his motorcycle 120 miles in 3 hours. At this rate, how many miles can he drive in 5 hours? So what is the rate that he drove? So if I look at this, again, I set it up with 120 miles over hours. So I have 120 miles in 3 hours. I want to know how far I can go in 5 hours. So again, I can cross multiply 120 times 5. 120 times 5 is 600. And if I divide that by 3, that's the only number left, I get 200 miles. But we can do that also with the ratio table, where I'm comparing a couple things where I have miles and hours. And I know I can go 120 miles in 3 hours. I want to know how far I can go in 5. I look at it this way. You can also find out how much or how far you can go in 1 hour. So since my numbers are getting smaller, I can divide each of those by 3, because 3 divided by 3 is 1. So I do the same thing here. I divide by 3. 120 divided by 3 is 40. Now to find out how far I can go in 5 hours, what do I have to do to 1 to get 5? Well, I have to multiply by 5. So then I do the same thing to the top number, and 40 times 5 is 200. So there's 2 different ways that you can look at doing those. I would prefer the cross multiply and divide method, but you may also use the table if you would like. So the last one is got a problem letter C. It says there are 810 calories in 3 scoops of vanilla ice cream. How many calories are there in 7 scoops? Ice cream, exactly what I like. It's my downfall. So if I have 810 calories in 3 scoops, so I have calories over scoops. I have 810 calories in 3 scoops. I want to know how many calories there are in 7 scoops. So I'm going to take 810 times 7. And when I do that, I get 5,670. And to find out how many calories, I have to divide by 3. So I take that number and I divide by 3. And I get 1,890 calories. That is almost your total amount of calories for one day, just in ice cream. That would be awesome. Don't forget the Chapter 1 test, review, and test are just around the corner, so please don't forget to study.